Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to give you a quick glimpse into my home gym. Between 2022 and 2024, I lost a total of 93 pounds and I've done it mostly in my home gym. I haven't gone into a public gym since March 2020 when the world shut down. I canceled my membership to Planet Fitness. My husband started collecting different types of equipment and weights and things for a home gym, and we've just had a home gym since. So I thought I'd give you a quick glimpse into my home gym that has helped me to lose over 90 pounds in about 2 years. Enjoy. So I just finished a 4-mile long run and I thought I'd give you a quick tour of my home gym. So let's go. All right, so this first area is our free weights, our dumbbell area. We have dumbbells that go between 2 pounds all the way up to 45 pounds. Now, I'll tell you that I don't use the 45-pound weights. My husband does, but I don't. I usually stay right at about 30 pounds if I'm gonna lift really heavy. And I usually only use the really heavy ones when I'm doing like sumo squats and I can hold it and let it hang. I usually don't lift them over my head. They're just way too heavy for me. So I tend to stay somewhere around the 20 to 25 pound range. And most of my exercises, I'm using anywhere between the 8 to 15 pound dumbbells. I like to be toned, but I don't want to really bulk too much. And so I like to stay in the mid-range of the weights versus trying to lift extremely heavy. All right, so I'm not really sure what this section is called. It's like the barbell area. But we have the barbell here. We have a bench here that also inclines as well, but this goes flat and then it actually declines so that you can lay further back. And let me see if I can demonstrate that really quickly. So it actually declines even further than 0 degrees. There you go. It goes flat. So you'll see me use this bench a lot when I'm doing different exercises. I'll do my tricep dips off of this bench simply because it is a flat surface. But this is our barbell. It does have knots here, so it goes up. And so I'll use this area for squats. I can move the barbell up. We have the weights that go on it over here in the corner. So we just load it up with weights. We do have little clasps that go on the end to keep the weight on the barbell and keep it from moving around and sliding off. And so you'll see me use this area a lot for lifting with the barbell. I do like to use a neck pad when I'm using the barbell and doing squats, simply because I want to protect my neck. So it goes on the barbell, and then this is what I rest my neck against. This is the area we keep our plates for our barbell, and so it's just a rack for that. This is just a smaller curved barbell. It's just a shorter version of a barbell that we use for arm curls. I'll use it for arm curls, put some weights on the ends and use it for arm curls. And then these are the locks that keep the weights in place on the barbell. You slide it on and then they clip around and they keep the weights on the barbell. I do have 2 cinder blocks here in my home gym, and the reason for that is because during the pandemic, I found a gym called Effect Fitness who did a boot camp. And during the pandemic, they did this boot camp virtually. They hosted it on Facebook and they used a cinder block as part of their routine. And so I went out and bought a cinder block, and I was following Effect Fitness on Facebook, and then they moved over to a paid app, and I followed them for years on that paid app as well. But great class, great gym, great energy. But that is what I use the cinder block for. And so if you've ever seen me stepping up, stepping down on the cinder block, it's because I'm probably doing a class with Effect Fitness. So this is our Bowflex machine, and I'll be quite honest with you, I don't use it a lot. My husband uses it. He tries to get me to use it more, but it's just a lot. You know, you have to move it around. You have to move all the equipment around depending on what exercise you're doing. You have to put on the weights here in the back, and then when you're done, you have to unstrap everything, you have to de-weight it, and so it's just a lot that kind of goes with it. Now, it is very effective. I do use it sometimes. There are some exercises that call for like lat pull downs, and I'll use it for that. There's a lat bar up here, and I'll use it for that. Lat pull downs, you can do it from the front. I turn and do it from the front, or I can do it from the back, and it's really good for that. That's usually all that I'll use it for. There is a leg extension on it where you can do leg raises, and it really works your quadriceps, and so sometimes I'll get him to come down and configure it for me so that I can use it for that purpose. I can also lay down on my stomach and do leg curls, and so I'm working the back of my legs with that. So it's really good for that. But again, you know, there's a lot to configuring it, and so a lot of times I have to get him to help me with it. So I don't tend to use this as much as he does. So this is our Peloton bike. It is the first exercise bike that we have owned together. I knew what Peloton was. I was introduced to Peloton by a neighbor when we lived in Georgia. Right before we moved from Georgia, my neighbor got a Peloton, and she invited me over to ride it, and I got an opportunity to ride the Peloton. So I understood the concept of Peloton. I knew what it was. When we moved to this area, we were in temporary quarters for 7 months. We had to build a house, and so we were in temporary quarters for 7 months. That apartment complex that we lived in had a Peloton, and so my husband started riding it. That was his introduction to Peloton. He really liked it, and so he rode it a lot in the apartment complex. Now, I rode it some, but to be quite honest with you, I don't think I was doing it right, because I felt like for the same effort on the treadmill, I could burn more calories. And so I used it every now and again, but I didn't use the bike a whole lot. But as you can see, he liked the bike so much that when our house was done and we moved in, he bought the Peloton bike. And so I do have a profile. I will use the Peloton bike when I just kind of want to break up the monotony of running or doing other things. Actually, when I started 75 Hard, the first 2 days of the challenge, I took the bike and I pulled it out the door onto our back deck, and I rode the bike outside as my outdoor workout for the first 2 days of 75 Hard. Now that I'm doing a lot of running and I'm training for more road races, I tend to just walk and run more on the treadmill. But I will use the bike sometimes just for cross training. If I'm following a plan that calls for cross training, then sometimes I will get on the bike as well. So I do have a profile. I use it every now and again, but this is really his baby. So here's the Peloton Tread, and this is my baby. When we moved into this house, we had a 10-year-old treadmill, and I knew at some point we were going to have to replace that treadmill. But we moved into the house, we moved it in, and I was using the treadmill. It worked fine. It was a little sluggish, but it worked perfectly fine. Now, what I found was when my husband bought the bike, is that Peloton had an app, and so I was looking around on the app, and they have different modalities of workouts on the app. And they actually had tread classes. And so I started doing the tread classes with the old treadmill that we had. And I really liked it. I liked the workouts. I liked the concept of the instructor-led workouts. And I really clicked with one of the instructors, Marcel Dinkins. And I was like, you know what? I'm really enjoying this. You know, I really like her. And I think that she will keep me running. She will keep me, you know, motivated enough to keep running, to use the equipment. And so, like I said, the treadmill was 10 years old. I could go to the store and buy an off-the-shelf treadmill, or I could invest in a Peloton. And so we decided to invest in the Peloton. You know, the way that I justified it was that treadmill that we had that was 10 years old, we bought it off the shelf, either at Walmart or Target or something, and it was $500, and it lasted 10 years, and it was a really good treadmill. And I was like, you know, even though the price point of the Peloton is well more than quadruple that, if we could get it to last 10 years, then we will have gotten our money's worth still. And so I will tell you that in 2.5 years of owning the Peloton Tread, I will say that we have already gotten our money's worth. My husband and I both use the treadmill. It gets used daily and sometimes twice a day, because sometimes, you know, he'll come down in the morning and get on it, and then here I come down the stairs, I'm looking to get on it, and you know, we're mean mugging each other because we're both trying to use the treadmill. But we really like the tread and the instructor-led workouts on the Peloton Tread. So this is the mat area, and we use this area a lot for stretching, ab work, foam rolling, some strength training. We set it up right here, and it's right in between the Peloton Bike, because the monitor on the bike swivels, and so you can follow along with strength exercises or ab exercises or stretching right from the bike over here, but it's also set up so that it's in front of the TV. And I'll show you what we use the TV for in a second. But this area right here is typically what we use for strength and stretching. So this is what we'll use for strength and stretching, and this is what I mean. This area is set up where the mat is here, and then the Peloton monitor swivels. And so you can pull up a strength exercise here, or you can pull up an ab exercise or stretching, and then we have the mat right here so that we can follow along. And so this is really convenient that the monitor swivels on this piece of equipment for that purpose. All right, so finally, this is the TV that we have set up here in the gym, and we use a Roku to pull up the Peloton app. And like I said, All right, so this is the TV in our home gym, and we use a Roku stick to access the Peloton app. And so all right, so this is our home gym. So this is the TV in our home gym, and we use a Roku stick to access the Peloton app. So it's set up right here in the mat area, and again, we use this area for strength training and stretching and ab work, and we use it with the Peloton app. So I'm gonna pull up the app. So there's tons. There's strength, there's yoga, there's cardio, there's kickboxing. So Peloton is so much more than just a bike and a treadmill. They have all different types of modalities of workouts. And so we'll access the app here, and then we'll use this mat area to do those exercises. So I hope this video has been helpful to you. If you liked it, take a moment and just give it a thumbs up for me. If you haven't joined the community yet, take a moment, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.